Well, just by way of a change from fishing, yeah, I've got a little quiz. I visited a large sail club not a million miles from here recently, and the auction house estimate and the actual hammer price was so diverse as to be almost in the realms of fantasy. So what I'll do is I'll put these 7 items on the screen one after the other and tell you what the auction estimate is, and then see if you can guess how much it sold for, because if I'd been doing it I'd have been a million miles out. See how you get on. Well, this is the first one. It's a little vase. It's only about, well, it's less than a foot high. Chinese. And its estimate was between £600 and £800. What do you think it'd fetch? Next up, one of 2 plates, badly damaged. You can see it chipping around the edge, and you can see this damage here. It wasn't the only damage, it looked as if it had been smashed to smithereens when you looked on the back. And it looks as if it's been stuck together there with adultite. Anyway, there were 2 of them. And the estimate for these little plates was between £2,000 and £3,000, which suck me as hell of a lot. But anyway, what do you reckon they made, these 2 plates? And then along comes this little grey plate. It's got some kind of embossing on it. You can see it on there. Didn't look anything flash to me, but somebody obviously thought it did, because the estimate for this little plain dish was between £1,000 and £1,500. So there was something about it anyway, but I don't know what it was. Anyway, give us your hammer price. And then along come these little lions for pouring wine. And the decoration was very, very simple on them. It was, you can see it there, nothing very flashy about them. And they were damaged. They weren't, there was some damage to them. Again, Chinese, and they were estimated between £600 and £1,000. What do you think? Well, this is a little wall plate. It was one of 2 of them, but on its own, this plate was estimated between £450 and £650. I can't say I liked it. But what would you have given for it? I mean, the decoration, hand decorated of course, really simple. Well, this is the next one. It's a little bowl. They use it for soup or what, I don't know. Just an ordinary size little bowl, really. Again, Chinese and seemingly undamaged. And its estimate was between £1,200 and £1,500. Again, what do you think? Would you pay that amount for it? And finally, this little bowl. Very nice, I thought. Nice red colour on the outside. Probably, for me anyway, the nicest piece. Anyway, it was estimated between 125 and 250 quid, and it's, bear in mind, it's what, 300 years old or thereabouts. So, what would you give for it at auction? Anyway, that's the final one. Well, everything had been going just as normal, and then along comes this little vase. And it was estimated between £600 and £800. And within a minute, it was going up in thousands. And much to everybody's amazement, it fetched 13,000 quid. And that was just the beginning. It went on from there. It was unbelievable. And there were a couple of balls came up. This was just one of them. There was two of them. The rim was all chipped badly, and it had been smashed into various bits, and you can just see some of the damage there. It looks as if it's been stuck together with adultite. And the other one was just as bad. They were estimated between £2,000 and £3,000. Goodness knows why. But anyways, somebody thought something about them. And again, they were knocked down for 13,000 quid. It's absolutely staggering. Well, along comes this little plain dish. A little grey thing. It's got some slight embossing on it, which is quite difficult to see. It didn't look anything special to me at all. Anyway, the estimate was £1,000 to £1,500, which I thought was a bit over the top. Well, damn me. Before we knew where we were, the hammer came down. 11,000 quid. 11,000 pounds. Then along came these little lions, like I think they were for pouring wine, and they were damaged. And the estimate for these was between £600 and £1,000. Anyway, within 2 or 3 minutes, they were knocked down for a staggering price, £23,000. This little bowl here, like a little soup bowl, it was estimated to sell for between £1,200 and £1,500. And anyway, it was very quickly past that. And the chap next door to me, bidding and bidding and bidding. Anyway, he eventually bid right up to 68,000 quid. And then was outbidded. And it kept going on and on and on and on. And eventually it was sold for £105,000, would you believe? I couldn't believe it. It didn't look anything extraordinary to me. Anyway, there was two plates very similar to this one. This was just one of them. And it was estimated between £450 and £650. And before we knew it, it was being sold to somebody for £5,000. And what made it even more strange was the woman sitting next to me with her husband said it belonged to them. They were absolutely gobsmacked. And as she was leaving, she said to me, "We have another 4 of these at home." They must have thought they won a lottery. Staggering. Along comes this little ball, which I thought was probably the nicest of them all. and it was estimated at about 125 to 250 pounds. So when it came up on the screen I thought, well, this is going to fetch a fortune. It went for 450 pounds. I mean, it's a totally different world, it really is. Well, if you've got any Chinese artifacts stuck away somewhere in a cupboard after that, I would get them out and have a very close look at them, because that was, well, you couldn't make it up. You just could not make that up.